Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in today to iNatural Body by SoniaBDorsey. In this video, I'm sharing with you how I create my soap labels. It's for the on-the-go person who doesn't have a whole lot of time and just wants to quickly produce the label. This is one way. I use sometimes Avery printing system, and now you can go online and access Avery. The labels that I use, that I like to use for the size soaps that I do create, are the Avery label 22805. It's 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch, and here I'm just sharing with you how to log in, or actually just log into the Avery website. And this is the label. I initially purchased the labels from the Office Depot, and now that I know that I can order it online and have them to print it, I'm glad for that option as well. You do have to create an account in order to save your creations, your label creations on the Avery platform. And you can go ahead and do that if you haven't done so. But my computer is quite slow, so I'm going to give it some time to retrieve all of my information. I actually do have several other tabs open. But here you go, and here's the different labels that I've created. Avery does give you an opportunity to save what you create. You can save it online, and I really like that feature because I don't have to remember all of the different soap creations, right? So here's one label that I really like. It has the QR stamp there, where if someone has the technology, they can go directly to the iNatural Body website or YouTube website page. And also there's a tidbit of information about the skin we're in. I really like that. And I think I can tweak this label a bit more to where I can actually put the iNatural Body trademark on there as well. And that's what I'm going to share with you. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So you can easily apply the design, and that's what I'm going to do here, since I already have it created. And it's most similar in such a way that if you were to create it from scratch, it's most similar. So I'll point that out to you as the video progresses. Like I said, I'm working from an older computer. Actually, this computer, I use it for so many different reasons. It's taking its sweet time to retrieve the information online, and I think that's due to the amount of RAM that I may have available on this computer right now. In the past, I used it for all of my personal and business and school needs, household stuff like that, and now I'm just trying to use it for business once again, and maybe a little bit of my household needs and what have you. But school is coming to an end here shortly in May, and I'm excited for that. Look at how long this thing is taking just to retrieve the information. Once I'm done with school, I am going to have this computer cleaned. I'm going to remove a good bit of the school information that I've retained over the last 4 years, and I will have that information placed on an external hard drive, and that will free up a good bit of space. So this way I'll be able to move seamlessly. But here it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is apply the same design to a new label so that I don't have to recreate a good bit of it. You will have to select the label that you want to apply it to. Once again, my label is 22805, so I'll go ahead and enter it in the search field. The green button to the far right, I'll click on that. Allow it a moment to retrieve that particular label. Notice at the top it skipped over number 2 and it went immediately into number 3. If this were a brand new label that I would be creating, I would have had to go to step 2, but it jumped all the way to step 3. And this is what I need to do. I need to adjust the QR code so that it will reflect the iNatural Body YouTube page, and that option is right here. And it's very simple, very self-explanatory, I believe, but I wanted to share with you how you can do it really quickly and provide additional information and access to your website or to your YouTube page. Now you do have to enter the URL. I am going to go ahead and retrieve the YouTube URL in just a second here. Or if you have a website and you want to put it here, in this way, if someone has the technology with the smartphones today, they can easily retrieve your information. And this is the new iNaturalBody page for all the natural products that I create over time and want to share with you guys. So at the very top, you saw the URL code, the URL address, excuse me. And so now that URL is in there and the new QR code is created. So I can delete the original one and place this one in its stead. What I like about the Avery platform is that it will warn you when you're printing outside of the printing label. If you get to an area where it reddens up around like that, your wording or whatever you've put in is not going to print, or it's going to be distorted or what have you. It won't print correctly, so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those warning and cautions that come up from time to time, and I'll share with you. Actually, the platform will do it automatically. It will warn you automatically. So I wanted to put iNaturalBody, and then I also want to adjust this some, so I'll do that. And I'm thinking that I want to go ahead and pull the caption by SoniaBDorsey from the bottom here and move it up some. And there's a little design there. I don't want that any longer. I want to go ahead and delete that. So I've done that. I think I'm going to go ahead and also remove some of the wording in the skin you're in the caption where it says the skin you're in. Now you notice to the far right, this is where you can adjust your font size and what have you. I also know that I can use the Microsoft Word or Excel to create labels, but this is something so simple, so easy that you can do it quickly. Once you like maybe set about an hour of your time, just to create your label, just to design it, it'll be there readily available for you, and you won't have to worry about starting all over again. And I will say this, if you're printing from home, it's going to require that you have a nice quality printer with enough ink to sustain whatever you're creating, right? So just keep that in mind. But those small cost expenses are calculated in the total of your soap expenses, and you pass those small expenses to your customer, right? So we're just going to continue. And you see here, so I'm trying to print, but it's giving me these warnings and cautions. So I will go through each one. You can easily click on Fix, or if you know exactly where the area is that needs to be adjusted, you can go immediately to it like this. So what I'm going to do is adjust the text and the font and try to get some of these warnings to clear. Now, if you're someone who's making soaps and the labeling is something that's a bit of a challenge for you, then you can skip this altogether. Myself, personally, I absolutely love a handwritten note. And I think that just lends to more of a personal touch on your natural creations or your homemade creations like that. I actually rather a homemade handwritten sign or label. I think it adds a bit more character, and for myself personally, it tells me that you've placed a bit more love into what you were doing. And then there's some of us who like produce so much that we really can't sit there and write every thank you note or sit there and write every label because it is quite time consuming. You have options like Avery and a computer where you can get somebody to do it. Etsy has um, a lot of different things that you can purchase, especially by way of labels. So like I said, going back to the label here, I'm going to go ahead and remove the skin you're in and see if I'm still getting those warning signals from the Avery system. I really like the way that the label is looking. And I think it's so awesome that you can install, not install, but you can have the QR code because a lot of times you hand your soaps out and you would really love to say, hey, look, visit my website. You can see, or visit my YouTube page where you can see me do a little more, and you don't get the time to communicate that because at the craft shows and, in the midst of selling your product, you don't get the opportunity to have a long, drawn out conversation. Well, to the intuitive or the curious person, the QR code gives you an opportunity to say so much without saying so much. So that's why I really love Avery. They give you this when you purchase your labels through them. And that in itself is quite expensive to say the least, but it's something that you don't have to worry about, especially if you're not so technically savvy like myself. I don't know the first thing when it comes to creating from scratch that type of QR code thing. And you do want to be mindful of your text because you're layering each one of the parts of the label. And so here you see where it continues to give me the warnings, but I can skip over it if what I look at when I'm looking at the label, if I'm pleased with it and I can tell that everything's going to print, if I'm okay with the size of the lettering, I can go ahead and skip over those things. Those are not crucial. The warnings are not crucial. It's uh, the cautions. The cautions are not crucial. It's the warnings. And so, like right here, it may be a couple of minutes or so, but you can print a full page, and that's giving you the option to save it. I like to save it so this way I will always have access to it, right? But I have a couple of sheets of labels where I've used like a few or so off of the sheet, and the Avery platform gives you an opportunity to adjust the labels that will print. And I'm going to share that with you also because I know you don't really, if you're like me, you really don't print the exact amount of labels that you need because you never know when you'll need to throw it on something that you just, you know, an extra bar or so or what have you, and you want to communicate to your customer. So I have a couple of sheets where I have like a few of the labels are missing that I've used already. And I want to make sure that I use the whole sheet. I don't want to waste any of the labels because that is a business expense. And so all I'm doing right here is preparing the printer. I'm saving my document to the platform, the Avery platform. I choose to save it online where I can access it from anywhere if I'm at the library or if I'm visiting with someone and I want to work on something, if time should permit, then I have access to a good bit of my work right here. And what I absolutely love about Avery is you don't have to do the printing. If you want to have it professionally printed, then they do also offer you that opportunity. They offer that option to you too. And like I said, I'm so sorry. My computer is moving quite slow. And so in the print preview on my printer, it wasn't set up. Um, it wasn't set up to print, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quickly. And if your computer does this too, it's just a matter of whenever the Adobe platform kicks in, the PDF platform kicks in, sometimes it's preset to just save it as a PDF, but there is the option right here where you can go in and select your printer, and you just have to be aware of that. And never select fit to page whenever you're printing your labels. You want to let the Avery application do all of this work for you. Don't adjust your printer to fit to page, because then you're going to throw off the dimensions of your label that you've spent money on, right? And so now what I've done is I've told the printer to go ahead and print, and here is where you can adjust the full sheet to look like the actual sheet that you have that you need to print or completely print out. And that's what I'm going to do here. So you select custom, and then looking at your sheet, you want to select or deselect, as you see on the right what it's doing. Each empty square that I select on the right is being is sharing, the system is showing me exactly what will not print. So be mindful of that. Be very mindful of that, because I did forget to look at that, and then I had to go back in and do it all over again. And that's what you're going to see here. You'll see there'll be multiple PDF documents that I'm saving because I caught it before I put my label into the printer to print. Now here's a note, here's a tip that you will find very, very useful. Depending on the type of printer that you have, I strongly suggest that you insert one sheet at a time. And the reason for that is because it gives you an opportunity to check the label to make sure that all of them printed out legibly, and that there's the printer itself is printing the way that it should. Don't print like 4 or 5 sheets at a time, not at home, because you have your ink cost to consider, and you have the label expense to consider. So print one sheet at a time. You can look at it. Also be mindful of how you're inserting the label sheet. If you look at the top portion of the label, it actually tells you how to insert it. And if you're not familiar with how to insert the label into your printer, take a blank sheet of paper, put a mark on it, and use that paper as a run through, and allow it to print on just a blank sheet of paper, not on your purchased labels. That's definitely a tip I wish I had when I first started printing my own labels at home. So yes, once you get through that, it's very easy. After that, you just print as many as you want. But like I said, always, always, always insert one sheet of labels at a time. And this way you can make sure that the ink quality is to your liking. You can make sure that everything's lined up within the label itself, within the printing portion of the label. And you can also prevent costly errors. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. It's my quick, simple, on-the-go printing of labels for my soaping creations. And I actually use these same exact labels whenever I'm working with mason jars, and especially canning. When I start to can, the labels, the size is perfect for the cap on the mason jar, and I really like that. So whenever I do like figs or fig preserves, or canning, any type of canning, I like that this label fits perfectly on the lid of the mason jar. Yes, so not only soaps, I do preserve, because I raise a garden. My dad and I raise a garden together, and so we have a lot of produce during the spring, and it's so fun. It's so much fun. Everything from pickles to figs. We have lemon trees. We do tomatoes. We make tomato. We not make tomatoes, but we try to preserve as much as possible, and we do give a lot of it away. But nevertheless, I'm rambling. I don't want to ramble. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please thumbs up this video if this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, if you need some help with it or what have you, leave me a message. I'll try my best to help you out. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye.